Hey everybody, Paul Cram here. If you've been paying attention at all to some of the content I've been posting lately and things like that, you probably are aware of a piece of content that I put out talking about a couple of stunts that went wrong in for myself. They're just some stories. What's interesting to me is on the platform of Facebook, I got a notification. I'll show it to you here. And basically what was happening is, I'm sharing a couple of stories of my experiences of working on movie sets. One of them involves a gun. And a cousin of mine on Facebook had asked, he commented on the video, and he just had also asked, in light of the current events surrounding the horrible accident, the horrible death that happened on that movie Rust as they were filming. He just was asking me, like, he's like, what's your opinion on like requiring actors to go through a safety like certificate program or something like that before they would be working with guns on set? And I just responded with what you're seeing here, which again, I think this is a fairly fair and good thing to be talking about. It's all about gun safety. It's not geared towards anything, I think, malicious, or things like that. My question or thought, though, after having this happen is, I think in the context of me and in my world and in me as a performer and as an actor and someone who posts content online, it gave me a little bit of pause. I know that this is nothing new. I know that Big Brother, Big Tech, big Facebook, take your pick. You can name whoever, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's a lot of pressure, I think, from different factions of thought and belief on, like, you shouldn't let this person say that, or blah 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 blah. All of it surrounding speech and the things that we were able to talk about and speak about on those platforms. This is nothing new. This has been going on for quite some time. I'm actually just wanting to share what's happening for myself, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is kind of not terribly life altering for me in a small sense. In a big sense, though, it is that thing where I'm like, wow, like if I was relying on income from my content or posts like that, like it's like, wow, posts are getting pulled down. Interesting. Okay. So there's that. But in addition to that, it's like the bigger picture of the context of like where my head is going and where my thoughts are going is, it's like, okay, so throughout history, we have seen time and time and time and time again that it's very, very sinister when people start to say, you can't say that. You can no longer just have dialogue around certain topics. You can't say that. You can't talk. I mean, there's reasons that, in Berlin, there was that wall, and on one side people were free to speak and on the other side they weren't. That's one instance. I mean, there's plethora that I could go down a long list. And what I guess my question that I'm kind of starting to think about a little bit is, it's like, for me as Paul Cram and what I am doing, just within the world of performing and acting and creating and that kind of a thing, am I okay with, someone like Facebook, who most likely in this instance, most likely because of the timing of it all and the messages and things, it's a robot, it's AI, it's artificial intelligence, probably seen some of these terms, gun, different things like that, and just pulling it down without having any understanding of the intent or concept of it. And that to me is that thing where it's like, yeah, we have movies and we have sci-fi shows and we have all this stuff where it's like, wow, do we give over to artificial intelligence like our freedom? And things like that are where my head is going. Again, I know these are not necessarily new concepts, but where is my part to play in this, and how do I want to respond? I'm still kind of thinking about it. Do I want to create content, creative content, and even videos like this, that where I'm talking about concepts and ideas and things that interest me? Do I then want to push them onto platforms like Facebook, where, currently I'm not really a big, huge draw per se. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but that's a different question about art and blah blah blah. But do I want to support Facebook when I'm like, well, in these small little ways, they are censoring me and not understanding it and probably not caring. I mean, come on. It's that's the other thing too. When companies and organizations get so monstrously huge, it's like this big behemoth, and I just don't think that they have the time, resources, and really care what their AI robots are out there doing and pulling. And it does start to be that thing like, where's the line? Where is it for myself? Me, Paul Cram, what am I going to be doing in response to that? I'm making this video to talk about it. I'm a huge fan of dialogue and conversation and striving to have conversations and dialogue with people that is beneficial to us, to what we as human beings are doing in life and together. And um again, on a very small scale, like Facebook just took down a very constructive conversation surrounding safety for actors, which matters and impacts me personally. um and I think about that thing. I think about a lot of the people throughout the past, in recent years, that I follow and admire, who have talked a lot about censorship across platforms. Um, someone like Chadwick Moore. I love the guy. I think that his take is very unique. His experiences are, very unique to him, which all of ours are. But I like his take on things, and I know that he has run into this where it's like, boom, get out of the way, because your speech, we don't care. I don't know. If you don't know who he is, I'll leave a link. Take a look. Some of the things that he's doing, I think, are really cool. Um, yeah, I'm a little flustered with this, because I know for myself, again, like in the context of what I am doing, this isn't that big of a deal. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, me as an actor, having two comments on a feed be pulled away isn't that big of a deal. But the bigger picture context of what that actually means and the ramifications that that could have for open dialogue, and for having people be able to talk about really challenging, hard things. Gun safety, gun violence, that actually is a really hot topic, and it's very challenging to have. And it's going to be so hard for people in this new world that we live in. New world, it's not really all that new, but this world that we live in, where so much of our dialogue and things happens online. I'm not happy about just even these little two comments that were pulled down, because I'm like, these are not inciting, they're not hate speech. I actually think that people, if they have hate speech, they should be allowed to bring it out in the open and let people see it. I don't know. I'm not a fan of burning books. I'm not a fan of canceling that sort of you know what I mean? That's just not who I am. So when I'm seeing tech do this, and I'm seeing places and spaces like Twitter, Facebook, the current pop, Instagram, places that would shut down dialogue, it just, those warning bells. I know they've been going off. Again, nothing I'm saying is new. Nothing I'm saying is like all that groundbreaking, but I'm just wanting to share my experience in this context. Yeah, rattle some cages, maybe, hopefully, in my own little way. So I'm curious to hear from people too. If there is instances that you've run into some of this, what does it look like? Yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone.